In many ways, Protestantism is worlds apart from Catholicism and Orthodoxy. There are many things that Catholics and Orthodox do on a daily basis that Protestants would never see themselves do. In this video, we're going to be talking about just that. Christianity is largely divided into three main branches, widely known as Catholicism, Orthodoxy, and Protestantism, with a fourth one being Oriental Orthodoxy, with practices very similar to both Catholicism and Orthodoxy. But far too often, there is animosity between them, and many Protestants fear that Catholic and Orthodox practices are faulty. Yet, here are 5 Catholic and Orthodox things that Protestants can start doing immediately, without giving up their Protestantism and without violating their conscience. Number 1. Praying the Jesus Prayer. This short prayer is a deep Eastern Christian spiritual practice that pleads for the mercy of Christ. Your Protestant soul should feel comfortable with the words as well. There is no mention of saints or Mary. This prayer simply states, Lord Jesus Christ, Son of God, have mercy on me, a sinner. It's a great prayer to pray at any time, and Protestants can definitely start using it. Number 2, the sign of the cross. This is a powerful testimony of your belief in the death and resurrection of Christ, which is a tenet of Christianity no matter which category of it you identify yourself with. Now, some Protestants do seem to have an aversion to this practice, as it may seem like an act, a ritual, or insincere, like an automatic action, if you will. Yet, there is nothing more powerful than the cross of Christ. Remember, St. Paul mentioned that he wished to preach Christ crucified, and without Christ crucified, there is no salvation for anyone. Moreover, making the sign of the cross is one of the most ancient practices of Christians, and one of the practices that even Protestants practiced in their early days. So again, if you're a Protestant, you can definitely engage in this without any fear. Number 3, candles. Now, candles are easily beloved by anyone, so why not use them anyway? But they're great because they bring warmth, light, some even give off a nice scent. Beyond that, they represent the light of Christ. Any Christian can confidently use candles for their prayers or just having around their house. So if you're a Protestant and feels quality or like a good role, worry no more. You can definitely start using candles in your religious practice. Number 4, using the so-called prescribed prayers that Catholics and Orthodox always mention, and that always get you on your nerves. Because why would you not just pray with your own words? Now, when you pray the Lord's Prayer, you already pray a prescribed prayer anyways. Even if you are not comfortable with saints and the Virgin Mary, there are many other prayers and prayer books that you can try. They contain much wisdom and should help you along the way. Just think of the sheer number of people who prayed them before you. Remember, there is power in numbers. Besides, these prayers are usually written by well-learned theologians, so by praying them, you're only using their wisdom. Nothing wrong with that, right? The last item is coming up, and you're probably going to dislike it at least a little bit, or you're probably going to get defensive about it, or maybe even deny that you ever did this, and maybe you didn't do it, so then you're fine, but hear me out. Number 5 is honor and respect Mary more. Regardless of your thoughts on asking Mary to pray for you or whether you believe she was a perpetual virgin or not, this should be a no-brainer to any Christian. Yet so many Protestants forget her as or treat her with disdain, or even worse. But saying that she's just another woman without anything special about her is not only disrespectful to the Lord's mother, but to the Lord himself. You're thinking that you're honoring her by saying that God chose an imperfect human, and therefore you can choose anyone for any purpose. You're actually demeaning her, because this was the greatest purpose of any human on earth, ever. God could have picked anyone, you say, yet he picked her, and she carried him, gave birth to him, took care of him, and was there all along the way, despite any challenges. There truly must have been some sort of preparation for her beforehand, and it really does take a special woman to do all of that. Just think about who dare say the same thing about the president's mother, or about a great historical figure's mother, especially if you know she was a good woman, regardless of your opinion of that president or historical figure. Even more so of the mother of our Lord, we always declare true love. If you love him, you should at least respect her, his mother, if not also love her. And this woman will not even violate any of the Protestant principles. So here are the 5 things that Catholics and Orthodox people do all the time that you can start doing right away as a Protestant.